Look, the Jazz, they're a basement dweller. They just played the Nets last night. Look, you expected a victory. However, I liked how we approached this game. Because the Knicks could have easily played down to their competition. They could have walked through. But they, out the gates, dragged this team across the bar and sent a message to Paolo and Franz to say Sunday is going to be a little bit different. And how apropos that today's New York Post, cover the New York Post, Mikal Bridges was on that back cover. Who sets the tone tonight but Mikal Bridges? Defensive side, offensively with 6 points in that first quarter. And everybody pretty much followed suit. Look, it was a light work night. Knicks got everything that they wanted. But defensively, I thought they were pretty dialed in for most of the night. Markkanen, who, you know, is the head of the snake for the Jazz. Keontae George as well. Knicks were able to keep those guys in check. And then offensively, as I said, the Knicks would go out to a 23-0 run. The Jazz did not score a point until 5 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first quarter. I mean, they put the camera on Will Hardy's face, and it said it all. The poor guy was ready to jump on a flight back to Utah. 23-0. But again, you know, the Knicks went out there and earned it. The shots were falling. Knicks on the night shooting 50% from three, 56% from the field. So everything was going their way tonight. But as I said, Mikal set that tone, and then by like midway first into the second, Deuce just started going crazy. Miles McBride, 7 of 10 from three. All 10 out of his 11 shots were from downtown. He went 7 for 11. So every made shot was a 3. So Deuce right now shooting 46% from downtown in his last 10 games was on fire in this one. He would finish with 22 points. And then in the third, our player of the game just took over, man. I mean, this was Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson literally in target practice tonight against the Utah Jazz. Cap would finish with 33 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 6 and 9 from downtown from Captain Clutch, which was good because, you know, last couple of games, it wasn't really the most efficient from the field, whether it was the Boston game or the Charlotte game. So this was another good tune-up game for Captain Clutch to work on his arsenal and really just knock his shots down. That was that. Once Cap gets to his spots, it's really make or miss from there. But last 2 games, I thought he was kind of short. A lot of his shots were hitting the front iron. So Cap got into a rhythm. He had 18 points in the third quarter, and then that was it. All she wrote. So Captain Clutch is without question our player of the game, and absolutely delivered for the New York Knicks. So great job by him. But you know, the whole squad had no problems tonight. I thought Carl was great tonight. 18 points for the big bodega. Karl Anthony Towns, 4 of 6 from downtown, 9 rebounds, 4 assists for Carl. So, you know, I thought Carl, you look at the center matchup, no Walker Kessler. The Jazz were trotting out. They had Nurkic out there. You know, that's not a problem. They had Kevin Love was out there. You know, that's not a problem. And then they had, what's the kid's name? Filipowski from Duke. Those are their bigs. So Carl really had no problems tonight, and it was an easy money for Karl Anthony Towns and easy money for the entire team. If you look at the minutes distribution, Towns only had to play 22 minutes tonight, which is fantastic. 28 for Josh, 20 for Mikal, 31 for the captain. You know, a lot of the guys on the bench got their minutes. OG returned. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 23 minutes for the Dogs. So, you know, squad really didn't break a sweat out there tonight, which is good, as you can look forward to Sunday feeling relatively fresh. So great job by Carl. You know, Josh Hart was hard tonight in the starting lineup. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for Josh. He chipped in with a steal. Mikal, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Mikal Bridges. And then, as I said, the return of OG and Anunoby. Welcome back to the Dog. It was announced that he was going to be questionable tonight And he came back and looked for OG. Mixed bag. Obviously he was rusty. He had missed some time here with the hamstring injury. So it was a mixed bag for OG. I wanted to see how he was going to defend Marketing and overall, could he get a little bit of his three-point efficiency back. But again, a little bit rusty. You could see he was moving a bit timid, as you would expect with a hamstring injury. You certainly don't want to play around with that. The Marketing defense, I don't think the Knicks really, as a whole, really felt Marketing at all. He's not really that much of an impactful guy in that way. Great scorer, but Marketing, I never really look at Marketing as like, a guy that really impacts winning, clearly, by what the Jazz are doing out there. But, overall, first half defense on Marketing, they did allow some wide open shots from him. He wasn't really firing. Second half, particularly when they put OG on the bench and then they had Josh on Marketing, then Marketing started to score a little bit more. So Marketing finished with 18, modest 18, 5 of 13 from the field. I didn't really think he was really forcing the issue that much. So, the defense was fine as far as that was concerned. And then offensively, look, OG was trying to get back into his reps and get back his rhythm. So happy to have him back and ready to see him back for Sunday. We got to focus on Deuce and really give him his props here, man. And rightfully so, because he would meet with Han Solo, Alan Hahn after the game. And here's what Deuce had to say. Let's hear from Deuce. Here we go.
Well, Deuce, I don't know if you know this. You were part of a recorded NBA record in that first quarter with the 23-0 start to this game. What was that like to be part of and watch also?
It's a blessing, first off, all glory to God for, putting me in this position. But, as a team, we came out locked in. We knew what we had to do and got it done.
Well, you're hearing it already. 7 3-pointers tonight. You heard your name a lot from the crowd, and you have acknowledged that you do hear them when they say your name. You have been on quite a tear of late. I had to write it down. 27 of 42, 64% over your last 6 games. What's it like to hear this crowd chant your name?
And it's a beautiful thing. I think we got the best fans in the NBA. It's all love. I appreciate it.
Now, you have done a great job filling in the starting lineup. OG Anunoby came back tonight. You moved back to a bench role. Do you change your mindset at all when you change roles like that?
No, I try to bring the same energy, the same passion, same love for the game, whatever role I'm in.
Well, they hear you and they chant your name, and every time you hit a 3, you have been red hot of late. Thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it. All right.
All right, that was our guy Han Solo, Alan Hahn, with our role player of the night, Miles Deuce McBride, ladies and gentlemen. 22 points for Deuce, an electric 7 of 11 from the field, and all 7 of those were three-point shots, ladies and gentlemen. Deuce was on fire tonight, as Han Solo said. Last 6 games, he's shooting 60-some-odd% from 3. Last 10 games, he's shooting 46% from 3. And, as he said, whether it's start or bench, Deuce is going to make the adjustment. But as we saw here tonight, with OG coming back, we talked about it. Who was going to go to the bench? It was going to be Deuce. Josh is staying in that starter's role. And look, for now, I think it's fine for now. You guys know how I feel about Mitch and the dual bigs, and how I do still feel that, especially in big situations where the Knicks are going to need stops. I think having Mitch out there helps, because once things kind of break down at that point of attack, he kind of helps you and doesn't put all of the onus on Karl Anthony Towns to bail everybody out once they get beat. So, but given the fact that it seems like Mitch is on a minutes restriction, plus the load management on the second nights of back-to-backs, just to get him to the playoffs, it might be best for him to be coming off the bench as well. And then, look, I think Deuce, the numbers are great. When you look at the numbers for Deuce, when he was with Josh in that starting unit had a differential of a plus 16. When he was with the starters with Josh on the bench, when it was Brunson, Deuce, McCall, OG, and Towns, smaller sample size, but that unit was a plus 14 on the differential side. So we know Deuce is very impactful, and it's been helping the Knicks this season, no question about it. The numbers even go back to last year in terms of his impact with this lineup. But I also think that I don't like leaving that bench kind of barren without firepower. Not to say that you can't stagger the lineups accordingly, but I do like him coming in later on against more second-tier players and just being able to let it fly like he did tonight. We'll get to the key stats of the night, and then we will get to our callers, man. Knicks win 146-112. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. CP the franchise in the building. All right, man. Hey, hot night shooting for the Knicks. 56% they shoot from the field compared to 40 for the Jazz. They shot 50 from 3 compared to 36 from the Jazz. 46 rebounds. They out-rebound the Jazz. I mean, this is wire-to-wire everything, man. 30-23, they win the assist battle. 12 Jazz turnovers led to 9 Knicks points. And Knicks actually gave the Jazz a lot more points off of the turnover side. 13 Knicks points led to 20 Jazz turnovers. The Knicks dominate in the paint 54-36, as you would expect. And then largest lead of the night, 41 for the Knicks. A wire-to-wire victory. I mean, my key takeaway, dominance. Look at every stat on here. Knicks went out there and handled business, man. Handle your handles. So, look, they're 15-7. Jazz are 8-14. Records speak for themselves. But overall, for the Knicks, look, you shoot 50% from the field. 50% from 3, rather. It was a good night for you from downtown. Well, let's see what they do on Sunday. Because the Magic ain't playing the same type of defense like the Jazz. Magic going to play defense. So the test is going to be, once they get ran off that three-point line, how they attack the basket. Can they get some scoring inside? Magic are tough. We know the Magic they're a big team. Not going to be having them wide open threes like that against Orlando. Tap in with the #1 rated ticketing app called SeatGeek. Use our code KFTV10 for 10% off your order. That's KFTV10 for 10% off to your tickets. And that's with SeatGeek. Very easy to use on SeatGeek. You download the app or you go to SeatGeek.com. You search for Knicks Magic and they'll lay out all the seats available. Look for the green dots. Green means good. It's typically rated from amazing deal all the way down to good. And that's just rating, are you going to get the best bang for your buck based on where you want to sit? So I like to go for like amazing to great, and that's a good range. It means you're not going to get taxed on that deal. But if you see a red dot, which means bad, that means it's way overpriced. You're probably not getting the best deal. You should probably wait unless you're truly desperate. So always try to stick with the greens. And that's it. You enter the promo code. The checkout is pretty seamless. And those are our guys, man. Shout out to our guys at SeatGeek. Once again, you can use code KFTV10 for 10% off your order.
Oh, I'm very impressed with tonight's win. Obviously, the game was over within the first 5 minutes, so that's always nice to see.
Yeah.
I've never, it's not very common for our Knicks, but it's always welcome, especially going into the next matchup against Orlando. So I'm excited to see what they have to bring against a big team.
Yeah, I'm looking for Sunday. I'm not impressed with none of this. They supposed to come in here and drag these dudes across the bar. They did what they supposed to do, Zach. Now it is back. I'm on Sunday. I've been circling Sunday since last Sunday. This is cute. This is cool. They did what they got to do. They wiped the floor with the Jazz. You didn't expend too much minutes, too much energy. You got the dog back. Everybody's back healthy. We full squad coming at it right now. Sunday matinee, I'm feeling a New York Knicks clap back. You remember some of them games where, the Knicks would go up against an opponent that just gets smacked around, but then it came gut check time and they handled business? That's how I'm looking at Sunday. Handling business. This Orlando team has been dominating the Knicks in the first 2 games. 127 points per 100 possessions. Killing them. Franz looking like Scottie Pippen out there in his prime. It's over with. They need to come in here Sunday and set the tone out the gate and smack fire out these dudes. Your talk. Your turn. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the Knicks, after the last display against Orlando, really do have to come back with a vengeance. This is a team that has given us a hard time, not only this season, even last season, they give us a hard time.
That's right.
So I think bringing in Desmond Bane, I think Jalen Suggs being back from injury has really elevated their approach. Obviously, Franz is killing it. And then, I mean, we don't know if Paolo's going to be back, but, I mean, they're a deep squad, and we have to show them that actually we're the beast of the East. You know, we're the team to beat. And I think this is an opportunity, especially after tonight's game with the chemistry building, for us to really go out there and show them who the best team in the East is.
Yeah, they have to. And listen, look, the first 2 games by Orlando, I don't think it's a fluke by any shot. The styles make fights, and I think that matchup, it's been the same matchup. As you said, they get the Knicks fits last year. But this year, they're a better team. They're more mature. They're a better shooting team. The Bane acquisition has helped them tremendously. And Franz is taking another leap, man. Franz, after he took shots last year, he's looking fantastic. And so they present so many problems for the Knicks. Number one, their youth and athleticism, their size. They have the hustlers, the 50-50 ball getters, the Batazes, the Suggs can get under your skin. It's hard to score on them. And then Anthony Black, man. The Anthony Black is another guy. He's just tearing in a corner. Then some nights it might be Jet Howard. So they have a lot of guys who can De Silva. You know, they have a lot of young Isaac. Jonathan Isaac handled Cat last game. So they got a lot of guys, man, that you really got to tango with, and they don't even got Mo Wagner back.
They are a deep team, and that's why we have to exert our presence. I think it's from top to bottom. We have to show them that we have the pieces. I think McCall playing the way he's been playing, the efficiency that he's brought. I think OG being back is going to give us the opportunity to really show them who's the boss.